All right, g'day guys. Pete Moriarty here. I have my good friend Scott Trevethan with me,
Hi, everyone.
who's good to have you here, Scott.
Good to be here.
Um, yeah, and we've had a bit of a journey together. We met through Business Blueprint. You became a customer of ours. We did the bike ride together in Thailand. That was pretty cool. 500 kilometers in 5 days, hands across the water. And I've watched your accounting business grow, and that I've watched you transition to this amazing new bookkeeping business and go and move over to the Philippines and really just transforming a lot of areas of your life, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So yeah, Scotty, great to have you on board, mate. Thanks for coming along.
great to be here, Pete. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So let's have a chit chat. What's going on in your world right now, man? This is a pretty informal chat. What's been happening?
Oh, well, just don't know if you've heard of this Corona thing. Impacted us a little bit. So my whole world shifted. Just over a month ago, I was having a look at some extra space because our business was growing very well, and the
Mm,
landlord was very keen to keep us. And we had a look at another 400 square meters of space just over a month ago. The world changed a little since that point in time.
yes.
And So we've been dealing with, I guess, clients dropping off and getting team members settled in the working from home type of, making sure their safety paramount,
Mm,
and getting them set up and making sure that they're working well from home, um, and then trying to work out what's going to work in this new mid hopefully mid crisis scenario that we're currently in.
yeah. So you mentioned clients dropping off. Tell me what kind of businesses are feeling the pain? Because I mean, I think my business, like yours, we've got kind of a broad set of other small business customers. So what kind of businesses are having trouble at the moment?
Yeah, bookkeepers, which
Interesting.
has surprised me a lot in terms
Yeah.
of, they were, especially those that specialize in the hospitality industry. So
Right.
those clients, a lot of them knee jerked said, I think their clients said, okay, no more bookkeeping, we're closed. And a lot
Shit.
of them did that from minute one. So they were
Wow.
straight on the email to us and saying, yep, we're done, pull our people, which I think was really interesting because I would say most of those businesses by now would have pivoted to a delivery type of service and to keep going. I don't know whether those businesses thought that this close down was just going to be for a week or two or
Mm,
how that was. I walked past a popular cafe in Glen Iris tonight, and they've got a sign on the door since they've had since day one, which was, yeah, due to coronavirus, we've decided to just, in the interest of public health and safety, close down. They're the only cafe around here that's closed. Everyone else is open for business, and they've pivoted to a different
mm,
model.
wow. Yeah.
But in any case, the bookkeeper certainly felt the pain early on, and then, to be honest, it was really anyone who wasn't quite making that transition to offshoring their bookkeeping or accounting work in any case. So there were the guys that were struggling a little bit with that. So they thought, oh well, rather than persist, we'll just cut now, and we'll press on. So nothing in accountants have kind of we had some new accounting clients that have sort of dropped off. Some of them due to safety concerns.
Mm,
We prided ourselves on being an office environment because we had financial information. So it was a little hard sometimes for us to pivot to that and say, "Well, it's okay. We're going to work from home for a little bit, but that's the new reality, isn't it?"
yeah. It's
I had a large
definitely.
I had a large accounting firm in Sydney. I'm talking large accounting firm, household name, that we had some team members working for us, and they were all working from home.
Mm,
Based in North Sydney, but every single one of them were working from home, and they refused to let our team member work from home based on security issues. And no matter what we could do, they said, no, no, no. Our security
mm,
committee have said you have to be office based, or we're not interested in helping you out. That and since I have to give my team, I want to give my team the flexibility or the option to say yes, I'm happy to go in the office, or no, I want to work from home during this period. We lost them as a client, so all over the place, to be honest.
mm. So how are you pivoting? What's your plan there?
Well, at the moment, we're headstrong into. I've just launched a book on Conquer the Crisis, which was a show that Dale Beaumont put on a couple of weeks ago,
Nice.
and then Started Facebook advertising around that book, which is called Unfunk Your Business Finances.
Great.
With the and trying to get out there and saying to people, we can help. We can help if you've got problems with your numbers. You need to go to a bank to get some more money. This is when you need bookkeeping and accounting advice, making sure that you get the most of the government benefits. So we're sort of really going out there strongly advertising that kind of view. Whether that's landing, it's not exactly having a lot of cut through at the moment. Where I'm also doing, which I've, it's funny the way that you pivot. I've certainly vowed that, since I sold my accounting firm, I wasn't going to go back into compliance, but I found myself doing, taking on the odd compliance client here and there and thinking, well, maybe we should do more compliance work as well. So doing more tax and annual accounting stuff and helping people with the full gambit, which I can do. It's just didn't want to get sucked down that rabbit hole once again.
So that's interesting because we've considered, we asked the question, hey, have you guys got accounting services internally? Is that something you can offer with? And I was curious why you may not have offered that through this business. Do you think there's challenges scaling that business? Is it just something that you were sick of from your previous business and you didn't want to go down that road again?
No, it's something that requires an Australian presence. And since I'm the only Australian member of Go Global, it would just mean a bigger workload for me. So not only was I living the life with Go Global and making sure that, where I was out there selling and telling people the good stories and all of that sort of stuff, which I absolutely love to death. After the compliance world of Scott Partners, I was a bit loath to get pulled back into that, but, desperate times. It's kind of like, I know there's a need, and we've certainly trained up our team members to be able to assist in doing that, but it still would require me to do a lot more work here. And until I can get to a point where I can take on someone locally to do that work alongside me, which could well happen. That's just something that we're dabbling in at the moment.
I think any business that's a service business has opportunity with the global workforce play, especially anything that's repeatable. Something that provides value through a specialized skill, which is not readily available. Like me as a business owner, I've got zero interest. Well, I do have a little bit of interest in doing a tax degree, but I don't have the time. I'm interested in it, but I don't have the time to do it. It's just not good use of my time. And so I think, until we get to the stage where everything's just like completely happening with AI, and Xero switches on their AI, bookkeeping, which I don't think they'll ever do because they're too embedded with the actual bookkeeping industry. I think there's still going to be value in that always.
Well, we had I was recently at a conference, the last accounting conference we think of in the world, up at Noosa a couple of weeks ago. And it was called the Future Advisor Conference. And we had Trent, CEO of Xero, actually speaking at that conference. It was only about 100 of us in the room. It was quite intimate. It was great. And he was really, really good about that. But we're talking about bookkeepers as the canary in the coal mine. It's really when the bookkeepers drop off, then we know that AI is really, truly here. And it's, we're not sick just yet. But yeah.
So how long do you think, and by the way, I want to say hi to a couple of people who've joined. We've got MP, Mr. Michael Peterson here. We've got Neil who's joined us. Thank you. Tanya's thrown in a comment, knee jerk is spot on. I believe some businesses freaked out prematurely. Same thing happened to us. Yeah, it's really interesting. We had a couple of customers do freakouts, and
it's
some
understandable, and we're compassionate about it.
Yeah.
But
it's
time to come back.
Well, look, the thing is, don't be the restaurant that closed their doors. And now, we're probably going to be in pretty chill mode for 6 or 12 months. Let's be real. Don't be the restaurant that's closed its doors and has to disappear. Be the cafes that have pivoted and put the bench by the door and are still serving stuff over the counter or are doing phone orders or whatever.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I'm interested. I want to ask you a tough question. We're talking about the AI coming up and that kind of stuff, because this has always fascinated me about Xero and, whether someone else may disrupt them. How long do you think the business has got, bookkeeping business, in general? Is that 5 years? Do you think it'll stretch 10 years? Because I'm always looking 5 or 10 years ahead. Are we going to be around in our business? Are people going to still have email? Yeah, they're probably going to still have email. But eventually, I think my business, unless we pivot to more valuable services around the applications that we sell, we won't have any value, because you can go and click a button with Google and you'll just have email and a domain name and you'll be done. So what do you think your business is at in 5 years and 10 years?
And it's interesting, just on that too. I've got a mate who runs, I think it's an email server, or they provide email services to a whole bunch of companies in the US. And I'm amazed that he can still be there. I don't understand why that business still exists.
Yeah.
But he does, and he says, there's only him and a couple of people in Melbourne, and they're making all right coin. So, never overestimate the ability of every business to take advantage of the current day technology, or willingness to do that, especially in the US. But we need more clients in the US. I've always been of the view that it was sort of like a 10-year window, and I think I'm probably 3 years into that now. So I am 3 years, 3.5, nearly 4 years into that. So I reckon somewhere in the 5 to 6 year, I could be within a margin of 5 or 6 years. So that doesn't really help. But that's what I'm thinking. I've got 5 years to build a business of business advisors rather than bookkeepers doing low-level work, and we'll see it be picked away progressively from the bottom. So it won't be all of a sudden there's an AI to come in that takes over the CFO type of advisory role. It'll be okay. We're seeing with HubDocs coming integrated into Xero now that a lot of that accounts payable processing has been done away with. So that's great. It's saved time. And we just add more onto the top of that. It's like, great, now you guys have got more time to do more reporting. Now you guys have got more time to do analysis on accounts, or change them, or make them more meaningful for the business owner. So that's my challenge has always been, hey, this is coming, this is real. We've got a very small window, 5 to 10 years. I'm saying I'm going to put my money on 6 years. And if we don't get my Filipino staff ready for that, then they're going to just get washed away in that tidal wave. But I think we can. I think we can make them the CFOs of the future, and by then we'll have a truly global workforce, anyways. If we don't already.
Now, when I think of international team members with all of the cultural differences, and I think of account management and advisory services and consulting, that's in my opinion, an uphill battle. I know that we've had that same kind of journey in our business of transitioning from, our team just, setting up new users in G Suite, doing very basic support tasks, to now we're starting to implement tools like Asana, we're implementing CRM tools, and a lot of it is still, I would say, framework and process based. But our customers are demanding, let's say, strategic business direction, not just, hey, fix this thing. I mean, we haven't done, hey, fix this thing, it's broken, for like 5 years. But it's more than just, here's a ticket type thing. It's like, hey, I want to have a conversation. I want to have a chat about what's right for my business. I want to tell you what my business process challenges are and see if you have a solution for those. What's your perspective on that? On serving? I assume most of your customers are Australian based, but I don't know your customers may be more spread out.
Australian and New Zealand. New Zealanders are very quiet at the moment.
Okay, yeah, keep it to themselves.
They are shut down completely.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. What's your opinion on that? On building that skill set in your team?
Yeah, so my opinion varies on this. I absolutely believe that the Filipino team didn't have the ability to really apply that knowledge outside of the box. Every single day I interact with my team, I challenge that held belief to the point where I'm now thinking, they are truly giving advisory, and they're very keen to give advisory type of advice. They're everything we do in bookkeeping, because we don't have AI, and the reason that AI struggles, or machine learning in any case struggles with the accounting and bookkeeping field, is because every business is unique. Every business is like its own fingerprint. No one has the same chart of accounts. No one has the same systems and process. Even among franchise owners, that they'll all be different. So it's a challenge always to try and corral people to do things the same way, especially entrepreneurial business owners that got into it in the first place to do things their own way and not get told how to do things. So
unique little snowflakes.
Exactly. So our guys have always had to deal with that. So it's always okay. Yep, your business. Our onboarding process is bespoke. and I say that because it's like, well, we couldn't make we've got broad processes that are same, but we really have to say, okay, well, we need to know exactly what you do and how you do it to try and streamline that. So I think they've surprised me constantly, and that's why I started Go Global in the first place, because I recognise their ability to do that high level consulting work. They just need more experience and some more training.
You mean the Philippines team?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. The Philippines team. Yep. I was disappointed. So my first in-depth try at that was going to be late May through to early July, when I was going to base myself in Cebu in the Philippines, just with the team, so I could really give them that next level of deep dive. I'm thinking now that might not happen, but I spoke with Jeremy from Delonix in Cebu today, and he was quite confident that Cebu will be open for business by then. So he's still expecting me over in that time. So could still happen.
Okay. So I'm curious, and Michael Peterson's put a really good comment in here that scaling business advice is really difficult. And what's your scale plan? I'm curious, because we've put so much work into this in the past year, and so I'm living it. Well, I'm not living it. Scott is living it, my GM. Yeah. But what's your plan there to scale that?
I guess for us, it's more of okay, this is what we're doing for our clients currently. This is what more we can do for our clients. So it's still going to be working individually, and we've got the base of accounting / maybe we add compliance into that stream, or I'm not sure, but we've got that basic stream of your internal company accountant. It's just that your internal company accountant's going to deliver you more value, and the internal company accountant's going to become a financial controller, and your financial controller is going to become a CFO, and the CFO is going to become an integral part of your management team, helping you to grow and do whatever you need to do. So it's still going to be very client by client basis, and the more value that we can give, the more clients take us on in that capacity. So
I've found that certainly when as we kind of went from being a small business to a maybe like a bit of a lifestyle business to what I would consider now a performance business, right? Processes are in place. We're reaching scale. We're scaling up. What I found was, as the more and more that I increased my financial competency, the better the business went. Me as the CEO, so because I was able to lead that financial control, financial literacy across the business, and then put the right people in place to make sure that that was followed and a part of what we do.
Yep.
What do you say then to the business owners that have not kind of broken through that ceiling? They're still in kind of like the la 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 la. I don't do the numbers stuff. I leave that to other people. Like are they just going to get wiped across the floor?
Well, I love the Warren Buffett quote that you can only see who's swimming naked when the tide goes out. And and another quote that he has is that it's not bad times that kill bad businesses, and it's really it's not bad good times that kill bad business, whatever that was. But the point is, business owners focusing on the stuff that they do and the value that they bring to the world, and that's all they focus on. That's fine in good times. Yes. We're not in good times, and it changed like that, didn't it? It was like
it was one weekend. I was at a festival for the weekend, and I came back and I thought, what the fuck's happened?
And you know what? I reckon the GFC did the same thing. Because I was at an army training of all places, and someone and the captain who was in charge of us said, "I don't care," because we didn't have access to any media or outside news or anything like that. And he said, "I just want to let you know that the world as we know it's ended, but it's none of your business. You just carry on doing what you're doing."
Keep training, maggot.
Cool, I don't know what he means. Found out a week or two later.
Yeah.
But so and that's how quickly it can change. And I think now we're getting into this era where, or this specific time frame where business owners are saying, "That's okay. I know the value that I bring to my world, and I'm just going to keep doing that and just keep my head down." But the real danger here is what they're doing is going to get them killed.
Yeah.
And I can't see that they can't lift their heads and say, okay, well, what else is going around? It's exactly those businesses that did that knee-jerk reaction of let's sack all our staff and let's get rid of all of our suppliers, or let's go into hibernation mode.
So just taking all the wind out of the sail. It's just gone.
Yeah. Well, I think in the harder times, financial literacy is absolutely an essential tool in order to help you survive. And I'm not saying, I always, if I have the analogy of an emergency room, and every business is in the emergency room at the moment, you don't need financial reports, or you don't need the heart rate monitor and the pressure and the oxygen, all that blood oxygen, all that sort of stuff. If you're a skilled enough doctor, you can save someone's life. But all I'm saying is that the mortality rate is greatly decreased if you've got access to all of that information. So the chances of surviving this thing are a whole bunch higher if you have more financial literacy or people in your corner that can help you with that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned dashboards. We happen to build custom dashboards for Xero. So if you're interested in having that data in front of you, Scott will tell you what numbers you need, and we'll make the numbers look pretty. But I wanted to kind of circle back, and that the point you mentioned about businesses just wanting to put their heads down and just do what they're good at. It's really, really, really important to deliver well. That is absolutely important. But if you don't have sales and marketing on the front end to bring customers in, and you don't have some kind of financial literacy to make sure that you're actually making profit on the way through, you don't have a business. You have a hobby that maybe people give you some money for, but you might be earning $2 an hour from that hobby. I think that was the thing that got us from being just a small business that was just surviving or just doing okay to actually becoming a scaled and performance business. As we worked out, okay, sales and marketing is what matters here. The product does not have to be perfect, and I don't have to deliver it all. That was the other thing that I had to go through my own process. But we've got 7 people watching, and Sherry's just joined us as well. Thank you, Sherry. I'm really curious, what are your guys' questions for Scott? So if you haven't caught us already, Scott is the founder of Go Global Bookkeeping. Previously ran an accounting firm. They do have some accounting services in Go Global as well. But I'm interested to know, what questions do you have for Scott around online teams, around working in the Philippines, around accounting or bookkeeping, or what the current kind of situation is at the moment. So your staff have kind of made the move to home. MP has said that the service has still been absolutely amazing. So you're doing something right. You're doing something right there. That's really cool. And it's so important. Michael also said that he's able to make important decisions fast in the current climate, and that's just so important now, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you don't know exactly where you're at and you don't have that ability to sort of forecast forward, at the moment, I'm very much on the, every business should have some sort of weekly cash flow forecast in place, maybe going out for 13 weeks, which I think is probably a good time frame to be looking at where we're at. I mean, we'll know in 6-7 weeks exactly how long we think this thing might go on for, but a 13-week cash flow forecast on a weekly basis is an awesome tool. But having the numbers at your disposal absolutely lets you decide, well, what can I do? And especially, it doesn't help because, and I think the government are doing an amazing job. I would not want to be them for anything. I just think I don't know how much sleep Scott Morrison is having.
Not with the daily press briefings, it seems pretty intense.
Yeah, really intense. But by saying things like the JobKeeper allowance and announcing those, but not really having any details. And when those details are coming out tomorrow, a whole bunch of us as accountants have been advising people, but really we don't know the details until they actually go through Parliament tomorrow.
Yes.
So we don't know how it's going to work. And people are like, well, should I sack people or not? Hang on, we don't know. So it's really important to understand exactly the financial impact that you're going to have to survive this period. Absolutely.
It's the challenge is that so much uncertainty breeds the problems that we're seeing. The slowdown in consumer spending and all of the follow-ons that happen from that. I was about to sign a commercial lease, and I put my hand back in my pocket and went, whoa. Now I've got a big question mark on the next 3 months. I just don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just going to, keep the cash close to home. That's a challenge. And what I am happy about is how quickly the updates are rolling out. Yes, it might seem like we're finding out something new every day, but at least the updates and the stimuli are rolling out. I mean, it kind of sucks for everyone who let go of their staff a month ago before the casual packages and whatnot came out. But it is good to see that they've been surprisingly quick. And I mean, I was 20 years old when the GFC happened, so I didn't really understand exactly what was going on. I started my business that month. I was like, okay, well, people needed viruses taken off their computers, so I was okay in that moment. But I didn't really understand what was going on kind of globally. But now to actually experience it, now that I'm no longer basically a child, it's been interesting to see, okay, I can see how this is affecting our customers. I can see how this is affecting the income of those in our in our society and in our space. MP's got a good question here. Oh, and we've got one from Tanya as well. Controversial question. Now all your staff are working from home. Why go back to the office?
Really good question. Really good question. And it's something that I was challenged to me today.
Because you're probably out of there for 6 months.
What's that?
Right? You're probably out of there for 6 months, right?
Well, the current view is, as I was talking to Jeremy today from Delonix, and his view was, no, he doesn't believe that the Philippines, the economic cost would outweigh the health costs by tenfold if they keep things as they are. So he's the biggest pessimist I know.
Yeah.
And it was like quite an interesting conversation because it's like, yeah, we'll be back in by the end of April. Start of May, we'll be back in.
Okay.
Which is very interesting. I think this period's going to give us a lot of capabilities in terms of managing the staff remotely, and we're continuing to work on those processes to make sure that everyone transitions to that well. Yeah, it's going to be hard to keep everyone. Everyone's got a taste of. I put on a business shirt this morning just because I felt that I should, and I took it off at lunchtime because I couldn't stand it anymore. I needed to put a t-shirt back on. I think it's absurd, but it was really tight, and I think everyone's going to be the same. If it depends on how long this goes for. Trying to get them back into the office could be a challenge. So there's some. I guess the real answer is. We believe that we still need to provide. There's, as I say, we've still got some team members in the office because that's what their clients absolutely insisted on. We've got some level of data security that we need to have an office-based environment to manage. I was speaking about one of the large financial planning BPO or KPOs.
Yep.
Next to
what's a KPO?
Knowledge process outsourcer. So
okay.
the difference in that terminology, so small and medium-sized businesses don't typically have business processes. They don't have them.
Yeah.
So you can't outsource them because you don't have them. So you've got to say, this is how I do things, and can you do that? And then the person has to, and that's why KPOs give people more ability to grow and be more able to be consultants rather than just doing and I think they're less able to be replaced by AI. Going back to that conversation,
right?
But the financial planners have basically said, you know what, we can't have you working from home. So the majority of some of his team have gone so they can have social distancing, but the majority of his team are still in the office, which we're allowed to do as BPOs/KPOs in the Philippines. It's just so I think it's the data security issue that we're still, it's the physically being able to make sure that no one's standing behind them looking at the screen, which we can't really control. We can control everything with the help of IT Genius and others to make sure that we don't, that they're not doing bad things.
It's not leaking.
Yes, yes. But we can't see that there's a person not standing behind them with a mobile phone taking a photo of the screen. Why they would want to do that, I don't know. And obviously all our people are well vetted and that sort of stuff. But, that's what we've gone out with business models.
There is risk there. Customer databases. If you've got someone's name and their date of birth, that might be enough to get some scamming happening. I understand it is a challenge. I think for the most part, I think people do the right thing. But but sometimes you have to play to the lowest common denominator, which is a challenge. Tanya's asked, good question here. Do you recommend any cash flow forecasting software? And I had this question too. or scenario planning? Do you just do it at a zero? Do you do it on a spreadsheet? Or is there something you can drop it into?
It completely depends on the complexity of your business. There are some
cool.
really, really good tools, and they always have been. Like Castaway was one of the early ones. Spotlight Reporting, and there's Fathom, and there's Futurely. Those ones which are really good at being able to present and help you with your scenario forecasting. But one thing you've got to remember is that every single forecast is always wrong. There's not one account that will say, we can build you a bulletproof forecast or budget in any way, shape, or form that's going to have, because a really, really good plan's only as good as you get. The first bullet gets fired, or as Mike Tyson says, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face, and that's true with a scenario analysis,
or until someone eats the wrong bat in a Wuhan market.
So I'm more of in favour for certainly for most small and medium-sized businesses to keep it as simple as possible, to really boil it down to, this is the margin we make across the board, and we've got a couple of tools on that which people are quite welcome to. But there's a sort of a little tool to just say, well, this is what my fixed overheads are, and this is what my margin is pre the crisis, and if I'm going to pivot slightly, this is what I think it'll be post crisis. And I think you need some form of accounting knowledge or assistance to help you with that. But then, you can see, I need to cut my labour by 10%. Well, then that's a great tool to help you make that decision. Or I need to cut my subscription costs, or I need to cut, my rental cost by 10%. Can I go to my landlord and see if I can do that?
Yeah.
Because across the board, this is what I'll need to do to survive the next 3 months. And so those sort of, but I boiled that down to a really simple spreadsheet rather than an offline tool. But there are many, many tools that will, take you really, really, really down the rabbit hole. Help you with 3-way forecasts, profit and loss to balance sheet to cash flow statements. But you've got to just remember, at the end of the day, they take a lot of time to put together. Someone's going to be very proud of them at the end, but they're always going to be wrong.
Yeah. No, I get that. It's an educated guess at best, right? Hey, Cody is here. G'day, Cody. How you doing, buddy? And Tanya is back. Angel is on as well. Good to see you guys. And Megan as well. Hey, haven't seen you in a long time. So I've got an interesting question for you. So I saw this great post on LinkedIn, and Brett Kelly actually mentioned that if you've got any dead wood in the business, now's the time to promote them to your competitors. I liked that. But I'm actually, the real question is, I'm curious, are people asking their staff to take a salary cut across the board, like a 20 or 30% salary cut, or are they just letting go of one or two people that they don't have spots for? What are people doing?
Well, I've seen both, and I've certainly seen one of our clients who was very big in the financial modelling. They do live workshops is the main thing that they do, and they do it for McKinsey, so they're doing it all over the world. They're big players, as well as right down to schools and other places. All of that stuff requires them leaving the office and going and delivering something in person. So as soon as Corona hit, sort of mid-January, they were like straight into let's go into scenario planning mode. So they were well down the track. Yep. And they all decided, okay, we're just going to put everyone on a 4-day week because that's all we can afford. And then we'll just test everything on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, really, to see how people are traveling.
I guess it's better to have a job than no job, right?
What's that?
Better to have a job than no job, and if you're sitting at home, you've probably got less discretionary spend anyway.
This is the thing, and this is the partly I saw Brett's comment as well, and partly, it brings up that old quote that I think came out of a Harvard Business School review, which said that you should always hire slowly and fire quickly. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about that the other day, and I thought that's the most stupid business advice I have ever heard, because the amount of time that goes into training something to especially the slow hiring might mean that you're going to die while you're waiting for the perfect candidate in the first place. It's that lady that never finds the perfect match, so never gets married. Or same with the guy. But the other thing is, like, you spend so much time, you so many hundreds of thousands of dollars go into every employee. If you're going to cut them at the first sign of trouble, what a waste that is. What a waste of resources it is for the business. So I would be cautious about it, but I have seen both. I've certainly seen people close down completely, make everyone redundant, or at least on some form of forced leave. And then I've seen other people that have taken pay cuts, and other people that have just reduced those days.
Interesting. It's
I agree with Scott Morrison on this, our Prime Minister. So just by saying, I think Scott Morrison was a little bit casual. Scotty, ScoMo, Prime Minister to me. When he says, on the other side of this, we're really going to want to have connection with our team. We're not going to want to be able to turn around. And I've got to consider that for our team as well, because we've got 10 of them or so that are now on, what we call no pay, no work, no pay, but we still pay their medical expenses, and we're working out how we can funnel them as much cash as we possibly can to survive. Because if we keep paying them, we won't survive, and that's no good. But we don't want to. As soon as on the other side of this thing, we don't want to say, okay, everyone back to normal, and they say, get stuffed. We don't love you anymore. When we were in our desperate need. So I think that Australian businesses need to be very mindful of that as well. The other thing I'd say, though, is when you look around at our current restrictions on businesses, we're definitely talking hospitality's been massively impacted. I understand that. But there aren't, and gyms, but gyms don't employ, I wouldn't have thought, that many people. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't have thought that many people get employed to gyms compared to hospitality. You could correct me, Cody, I'm sure. But and there's a few other industries that
getting a massage and those kind of bodily ones, like
so I'm disappointed, but but after self massage, but where these 1.5 million unemployed come from, I'm thinking they're mainly casual bar staff. So interesting.
And casual retail, I'd say as well. Like Cotton On and everyone that's. And it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I hope that we can have some kind of restart. If the reality is, and from what I understand, at least the social distancing is here until vaccines happen, which is going to be like 18 months, right? I went to the local Stockland today because I needed something from JB Hi-Fi, and it was packed. I couldn't get a park, and I was so surprised. Everyone's done such a good job at the beach, super quiet. Roads are mostly super quiet. But Tuesday afternoon, it was packed at the shops. And I thought, wow, that's just really interesting. Thankfully, in most of the stores, people were practicing the social distancing, keeping away from each other. That's probably the reality. But I didn't feel unsafe going into JB Hi-Fi and buying a cable for my computer and then coming back. Like, I felt okay doing that. I tapped and paid instead of cash. I mean, maybe this is just the thing that kills cash and moves everyone to online delivery for everything, which I think is great. I'm millennial, so I've been on Amazon and eBay for forever and ever. But I walked into JCar Electronics, and there was an older guy there who wanted to have a chat, and and I was just standing there thinking, wow, this is one of the businesses that when everyone moves online, this is just not needed anymore. And everyone was too busy having a chat with each other to serve me. And I actually walked out because I thought, I can buy this on Alibaba and I might have to wait a couple of weeks, but I won't have to deal with this. But anyway, I think we're just about out of. Sorry, go on.
You're absolutely right. It's a changing environment everywhere we go, and I'm going to be interested to see what happens on Thursday. Traditionally, the busiest supermarket shopping day of the year, Thursday before Good Friday. And Mum said, if you can do your shopping, make sure you don't do it Thursday. I'm like, it won't be the same this year. I guarantee it will, because for no reason, I think the supermarkets are open on Friday, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I'm out of food, so I need to do a shop. Scotty, it's been a great chat. Who do you look after? What kind of businesses are you really out to help, and how can people find you?
So I guess we've got two sides to our business. Definitely any small and medium-sized businesses that use cloud accounting that are looking for bookkeeping services. As I say, not just data entry, but also right up to the reporting and really going hand in hand, helping business owners through this difficult time.
Yep.
Anyone who's on any sort of cloud accounting, we can handle that. And if they want to pay, if they're using a local person and they love and trust and they're getting all the value out of that, I encourage you to stay using those people. If you're thinking you're not quite getting the value, we're about half the price of local bookkeepers, so that's sort of where we're market positioned. We've got plenty of capacity at the moment, so which is great.
Yep.
The other side of our business is we serve accountants and bookkeepers in giving them staff as well, so
Wholesale.
on a
Yeah.
full-time basis. So, they're the other people that we serve, which I think we're going to start to see, because accountants are one of those bulletproof industries that seem to go well no matter what, or at least not necessarily well, but exist. We don't like to say well in accounting terms. It's just like, we're just driving home in our Mercedes, but not that I have a Mercedes.
Don't need one in Cebu.
No, I guess not. Little scooter would be fine. But any SME really that's looking for some sort of bookkeeping support is who, and bookkeeping and up support is
awesome.
What we do.
And goglobalbookkeeping.com.
That's it. Yep.
Go Global Bookkeeping. Cool. Scott, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to have you here, and we will catch you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, mate.
Awesome. I'm going to do a little sign off now, and then we'll finish up our stream. Thank you so much for joining in. This has been a bit of an impromptu interview with Scott here, and talking about his business and everything that's going on at the moment. And so if you're interested in getting in touch with Scott, please go ahead and check out his services. We've been doing business together for a number of years. I love him. He's a really great gentleman, but also he's got a good business as well. And he's not your normal accountant. He's the only accountant that I know that rides a motorbike, has tattoos, and he's a good man, Scotty. So if you're interested in having a chat to us about getting your team working more productively remotely, about outsourcing, working with international teams, around the underlying business technology, your automation, getting your dashboards right, pulling your data out of Xero, putting it up on dashboards in the business so you can monitor the right numbers. When Scott tells you the numbers, we'll make them look pretty. Then let us know. Drop a comment below, send me a message, or otherwise you can message our team, itgenius.com, and we'll catch you soon. Till next time, take it easy. Cheers.